Please click the subscribe button and the notification icon. It will help us a lot.
Oh yeah. In the very beginning, I just do it myself. Kind of like a lot of artists, they are doing it. You make your own book the way you want, and you try to self-publish either out of pocket or Kickstarter type. But I do a little bit in the beginning with Kickstarter, just mostly my art book, and then I experiment to work with local smaller publisher, and I enjoy working with publisher because they know what they're doing more than I do. So there's someone who can guide me along and give me much clear parameter. So with local publisher is good because they are not as corporate and that's more family owned. It's easier to communicate with them and work with them. So I kind of do a book with a local publisher in San Francisco for in the beginning and get some experience. After that, I realized I do enjoy the process. I want to do it a little bit more professionally. So I start applying for agency. One thing is because I know I don't know at all about how publishing functions. So I don't trust myself to do it myself because it's a pretty complicated process. So I applied for agency and then this day I can't do it through the agency, and usually the process is I come up with an idea. In the beginning, sometimes it's just really rough idea, as rough as it would be equivalent to just a few pages of notes in the notebook, nothing polished. And then I will discuss with my agent and say, what do you think about this and that idea? And usually the agent, they're in the business for many years, so they know what content is more marketable and more appropriate to pitch. And they usually wouldn't interfere with my creativity, but they will give really good positive input. And she said, oh, I think this is a good idea, but what do you think about you presenting in this way or that? So they give feedback and I go back and think about it some more, come up with some rough draft, and I will share with the agent for feedback. So over time, pretty much back and forth, I come up with the draft of the story. And once she feel like it's pretty good enough and pretty polished, then she would send out the script to publishing houses, editors for potential acquisition consideration. That's kind of usually how it works with a more traditional publishing route. But I also know a lot of artists, they start do it your own kind of self-publishing, and they do it really successfully with Kickstarter, which is also another good route. Say some people prefer fiction because with traditional publishing, even though as a creator you still have, I would say, over 95% of creative freedom, but you still have to work with some kind of corporation to get your work out. So there will be a little bit limitation. You do own your copyright and you do have most of the creative right, but more or less you are working with a company. So there will be a little bit of restriction. But some people, if you prefer to have 100% freedom, something like a online crowdfunding would be a good place to start. You do exactly the way you want. You do a successful crowdfunding and do your own printing. And I know I have a few friends, and I know there are people in the industry, that's how they started, and they do really successful self-publishing, and it get attention from the publishing world, and then they get a contract through starting on themselves, and then eventually they get a contract with bigger houses because they have a proof that they can do it really well on their own. So that is almost like a portfolio in a way, that people say, oh my gosh, you can do really good books, so they just sign with them right away. So I have seen those kind of situations as well. So there's many ways to do this.